was doing this in memory. After these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lighted with his glory. And he cried with a mighty strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sin, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works. In the cup which she hath filled to her double. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day: death, mourning, famine. She shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord God who judgeth her. And the king of the earth, who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her, shall bewail her and lament for her. For when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise any more. The merchandise of gold and silver and of precious stones, and of pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet, and all thyine wood, and all manner vessels of ivory, and all manner vessels of most precious wood, and of brass, and iron, and marble, cinnamon, and odors, and ointments, and frankincense, and wine, and oil, and fine flour, and wheat, and beasts, and sheep, and horses, and chariots, and slaves, and souls of men. And the fruits that thou soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. The merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, for in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught. And every shipmaster and all the company in the ships and sailors, and as many as trade by sea, stood afar off and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is like unto this great city? They cast dust on their heads, and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness, for in 1 hour she is made desolate. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for God have avenged you on her. I read that this morning. A lot of people might not read that the way I do, but today, I think, is the 15th year. Is that right? 2001? 15 years ago on 9/11. Do you know what the day is?
Yep.
It's 9/11. 15 years ago on this day, the Twin Towers fell. What could you find in them Twin Towers? Gold, silver, frankincense, myrrh. Every walk of earth of man was in there. Every kind of ungodly thing I heard people say that there was things that you could buy in that place you could buy nowhere else in the world. But you could buy them in the Twin Towers. I've heard of all the things that were in there, and it's just funny how the scriptures are written in prophecy that says in 1 hour all of it was taken. I remember watching on the news, and it was probably less than an hour. They began to crumble to the ground. And people have shown videos and different things of what's happened and what's taken place at 9/11 as it was going on. And Lord, the fervent fire and heat. I don't know about y'all, but Revelation chapter 18, to me, describes what happened in New York City 15 years ago. Amen. You don't have to believe me, you don't have to trust me, but just read it and compare what that great place had and what happened. I just want to take one moment today to remember that great time in our life. Churches set attendance records the following Sunday morning. People run to the altar and they got saved and they give their heart to Jesus. People call people on the phone. Alan Jackson wrote a song about it. Do you remember? And people did exactly what he said. They picked up the phone and they called loved ones they hadn't seen in a while and asked them to forgive them. And they loved people they couldn't love. And oh Lord, things that just went through our mind, how in an instant our city, our world, our country was changed in one moment. And then look how far from God we are today. A catastrophic event that should have been a turn. But not just America. Listen, there was people from all over the country officed in there. All over the world had offices in them times. We weren't the only ones that lost. The Bible said there was kings of the earth were in there. High and mighty people died in this place. But could we remember today not exactly what happened that day, but what happened the Sunday following? Where people run to God. People ran to God. And they give their heart to God. But how soon do we forget? How soon do we forget? I just want to take a little moment right now and let's just remember those who lost their lives. Not only those that were in the Twin Towers that lost their lives, but especially those that went in to the Twin Towers. EMS workers, police. Look what's scattered all over the world now. Black Lives Matter. Talking about the police. But look what the police and the fire department and the people did when that happened. They didn't see no color or nothing like that. They run in to save whoever they could save. And numbers and numbers and numbers of lives was lost. They got trapped in it trying to save others. Amen. So let's just not remember only the Twin Towers and the people that was in it, but those that gave their life trying to save. Let's just take a moment this morning. So many years ago this happened. And let's just in our own little special way just pray. Still yet for those families. Some still hurt. Some still wondering what their family went through.